All right. Happy Friday. And hopefully we are streaming. Hopefully this is live. You never know with Facebook. But anyway, hopefully you're having a great day. It is July 2nd. Can you believe it? July 2nd already? I mean, we're already into July 2021. Amazing. Crazy. Been a crazy year, as we all know. But hey, we're getting through it. We're getting through it. Today, what we're going to be talking about on our jam session, because this is going to be a jam session. If you guys are new and you're watching this on a replay or you found this months later, Friday is the day that we do our little Friday jams, and that is where we get to jam on a topic. This one here today will be basically how to outline your blog post really, really fast. And I'm going to actually give you an example of how to do this and really how to fill in the blanks. And then also, I'm going to give you one thing that I'm going to share with you that I see a lot of people making this mistake and how to avoid it. All right. And actually, this was on one of our calls recently, on one of our Brand Creators Academy calls. One of our members has been publishing content. And then after we looked at her content, we gave her some advice. And the advice was the content is really good, but it wasn't going to get found. And I will explain that. So we'll actually cover that one little tip here that I'll give you guys. And I think that if you implement that, you've got a much greater chance of getting your content seen. All right. So let me know, guys, if you're here live, if you guys can just let me know real quick. Video, audio, okay. Give me a thumbs up. Give me something here. So that way there, I know that everything is coming through okay. And we will do that. I also have something that I want to share with you guys that's going to be happening in about 2 weeks. Something I'm pretty excited about. So I'm going to share that with you guys. Salama says, thumbs up. All right, cool. All right, good. So we're good to go. So I think that's what we're going to do. And if you guys have any questions on this or anything else, let me know. And I'm going to attempt to share my screen at some point. So we'll go ahead and do that. But we're going to go ahead and make sure that everything is doing okay here. And let me just pull up real quick. Bear with me. I'm just getting my notes up here. And they're not much of notes. They're just basically what the topic is. And I've got my tab opened up so I can share that. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Let me switch back here real quick. All right, cool. Noel, good morning. Good to see you. All right, cool. So here we go. All right, guys, welcome back to another Friday Jam session. Today, we are going to be talking about how to create blog post outlines for publishing content faster. I'm going to give you a really cool little trick, something that we do all the time, something that I just did the other day because I was outlining a post that we're going to be writing in a brand new niche that we're building inside of Brand Creators Academy. So little shameless plug there. If you're not part of the Academy, another reason why you probably want to check it out. And you can do so by heading over to brandcreatorsacademy.com. If you go there, you'll get the details on how you can join us there. But yeah, we're going to be building out a new site. We've got 2 of them going right now. The third one is it's almost ready, and we've already published a couple of articles. But I outlined a post the other day. I'm probably going to do one myself as a demo inside of the Academy just to do one. I want to kind of prove to myself that I can do it. And I'm going to see how easy the process is as far as writing it. Outlining it is pretty easy. The writing part of it, it's not hard, but you do need to kind of get in the rhythm and in the flow of that and not overthink it. I think that's another big one. But what I'm going to give you today and what the topic is going to be is really how do you create that outline? Because it starts with the outline. We need the topic and then we need the outline. Once we get the outline, we fill in the blanks and then we can create, right? We can go ahead and publish that. So that's what we're going to be doing here. The other thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing with you one big mistake that I see a lot of people making and why their content is not ranking. And we literally just got through this or went through this with one of our members the other day, and she's published like 50 articles already, which was great. Awesome. And she was saying, well, why am I not getting traffic yet? Like, why is my traffic low? Like, she's getting some traffic, but it's low. And so we pulled up her site. We went through her articles, and the articles are really, really good, but there's one thing that they're missing. And I'm going to share that with you here towards the end. All right. So let's kind of dig in here. The very first thing, and I'm going to actually pull up my screen. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can go to the show notes to this page. We will embed this video into that post if you want to actually see what I'm doing, but I'll explain it. So this way here, even if you never watch the video, it will make sense. All right. So the very first thing, and I'm going to be pulling up my screen as I'm doing this, but the very first thing that we want to do is we want to start with our title, right? Like our keyword. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now so I can share this. There we go. All right. So I'm going to use the example of, can you catch bass in the rain? All right. So let's say that I did my research and I look at that and I go, okay, that's a question that I want to answer on my website. And I want to answer that. But a lot of people say, well, Scott, how do you answer that question and make it more than, 1,000 words? Like, how do you actually do that? Well, I'm going to share with you how you can do this very, very easily. And it doesn't take a lot of work to put this together, but it does start with, what is your title? And then from there, what are the other points that you want to cover in that piece of content? All right. So yes, we're going to answer the question, can you catch bass in the rain? That is the question. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build that out with other supporting information and other questions really that could be asked by that same person that's related to that. All right. So I am going to make this super simple for you. You don't even need a fancy tool. All you need is Google. All right. Because that's who we want to get to like us, right? We want them to like our content. We want them to index our content. We want them to rank our content. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to Google and we're going to type in our keyword. Can you catch bass in the rain? All right. Now you can see there's a, number one result here, or this is the little snippet. And now this is where we want to look. People also ask. So right below that, you're going to see people also ask. So the title is, can you catch bass in the rain? Other questions that are also asked are these here. Is bass fishing good during the rain? So you might add that as a subhead. All right. So the first thing is, can you catch bass in the rain? And then it might say something like, the short answer is yes, you can, because, and here it says, bass are more likely to roam when it's raining versus when it's sunny. So the answer is yes, you can, but you also want to consider a different style of lure, or and that's what I'm going to cover inside of this post. So you're going to kind of give it the intro, and then you're going to go into things like this. Is bass fishing good during the rain? So that might be the subhead. That's one bullet point, right? Is bass fishing good during the rain? And you'd say, yes, it can be. And then you would elaborate on why. Okay. Now going down here, the other thing that they're probably going to want to know is, okay, you said, yes, I can, but what lures should I use if I'm fishing in the rain, right? If I'm trying to catch bass in the rain, what kind of lures, right? So we know that's, if someone asks me that question, they're gonna be like, okay, I can, what's the best lures for that? That might be the next question. That question is going to be my next subhead. Okay. Now, all of these don't make sense every single time, right? So you have to kind of pick and choose. Sometimes it's like, okay, there's my 4 bullet points, and I'd like to have 4 or 5. Because here's the deal. If you have 4 or 5 bullet points, guess what? 250 words, that's like a paragraph, like a longer paragraph, but that's a paragraph. Okay. 4 of them, we got 1,000. Okay. So what lures to use for bass in the rain? Is fishing in the rain good or bad? That's kind of similar to this right here. What lures work best in the rain? So again, these are very similar. So there's really only 2 bullets that I'm going to probably pull from there. But here's where we can drill in and go even deeper. Okay. So let's start with this one. I'd click on that. Okay. I clicked on, is bass fishing good during the rain? And then down below here, it says search for, and then there's a link, is bass fishing good during the rain? So now I'm going to do another Google search, And then I'm going to look down here to where it says people also ask again. So now the main search that I'm looking at is bass fishing good during rain. And then down below, I got another batch of potential subheads. Okay. Will bass bite in the rain? So there's a subhead. What lures to use? So now we're back to lures. So we know that what type of lures are best is going to be a subhead. So we already established that. But the new one here would be, will bass bite in the rain? Okay. Is it good to fish in the or fishing in the rain? What lures? Okay. So we're back to the lures again. So now I'm going to go back. All I did was click back, and I'm going to go to another one. Let's go to the lures one. What lures to use? So now I'm going to click on that. I'm going to scroll down. It says search for what lures to use for bass in the rain. I'm going to go to people also ask. So again, if you guys are listening and you're not watching this, all I did was I took that main search, what lures to use for bass in the rain. I made that the main search. Okay. I made that my original search. And then I just scrolled down a little bit and I looked at people also ask. And then now here it is, how to catch bass in the rain. What do you use for bass in the rain? What bass lures? What lures for work best in the rain? So pretty much we've only got 2 or 3 different topics. All right. But here's the deal. We could probably, okay, if I go into, or even just look down here, okay, a little bit further, if I scroll all the way down, I've got other things at the bottom of other searches. Best lures for bass fishing in the rain tips, bass fishing at night. So now you might have another subhead that says, can you catch bass in the rain at night? That might be another subhead. So already I've got 3 or 4 that I could easily use. Okay. Or here's another one, bass not biting after rain. Right. And then you could have another subhead that says, how to catch bass after the rain. So, yes, we covered how to catch bass when it's raining, but what about after it rains? Is that a good time to catch bass? And then you would elaborate on that. So what we're doing here is we're creating an article, okay, a piece of content that we know Google is saying, if all of these different topics, if all of these different things are being discussed inside of this post, then they're going to look at that main thing that people are searching for, and they're going to look at all of the other supporting subheads, and they're going to go, this thing here is about that topic, because everything is kind of related. Now, if I had in here, can you catch bass in the rain? And then inside of that, I start talking about deep sea fishing, it wouldn't make sense. So what we're doing is we're giving the end user, the person searching, we're giving them more of what they need to know, and we're giving Google more of what they want to give to the end user because of the data that's been collected. All right. So you can literally outline a post like this in 15 minutes or less, probably less. Sometimes you'll do one of these and it will automatically just give you those that all make sense. Sometimes they don't. Like in this case, I had to do a little bit of digging, but I didn't spend that much time. All right. So I'm going to try this one here real quick. What do you use for bass in the rain? Okay. And then I'm going to use that as my main search. And then I am going to see here, what lures again? How do you fish for bass in the rain? What lures? What can I use for clear water for bass? Okay. So that one there isn't for at or in the rain, but it does say, what can I use for clear water for bass? So that could be a subtopic. It's being suggested. And then if I scroll to the bottom, let's see. Oh, bass fishing before rain. So you could do one that's like how to catch bass before it rains. The other one is how to catch bass after it rains. And we're using the word rain, right? Because the main search was, remember, can you catch bass when it's raining? I think that was the original search. So that's how you would build an outline. Okay. And now that's just one part of the process, obviously. So there's really 4 parts to this process. One, you got to do some keyword research, right? Find those questions or those topics that you're going to be answering, okay, or supplying the information to. That's number 1. Number 2, build the outline. From the outline, we write the post. After we write the post, we publish the post and optimize it for search engines, for SEO. Okay, and that's it. Done. All right. Now, I would suggest going through this process And then once you go through it once, it's going to get easier. You're going to get faster. And you can always then teach someone else how to do this. All right. So that's how you do it. Like I said, number one, do your keyword research. Number two, find those bullet points. That's your outline. From there, create the post. And from there, post it and optimize it for search engines. Okay. SEO. All right. That's what you do. Now, I did say that I was going to share with you one mistake that I see a lot of people making and wondering why my content is not ranking. Why is my content not ranking? I recently had, I think I mentioned this in the beginning, I recently had a member of BCA, Brand Creators Academy, and she's been posting content pretty regularly, and she's got about 50 articles up there. And she wanted to know, like, my traffic is slow, right? It's slow. Well, there's two things here. Number one, if you've been posting for, let's say, 6 months, you have to almost wait 6 months in order to expect to get traffic. Okay. Whenever we're posting something, we're always knowing that it's going to take at least 3 to 6 months before we get indexed and before we actually, not even just index, but start to rank to where we can get traffic. Okay. We have to start or allow it to start getting ranked. Okay. And it usually a 3 to 6 month. I actually shared a keyword that we're ranking for now. We posted a year ago. And for the first 6 months, it was crickets. It was like, 2 a day, 10 a day. Then it bumped to like 30, and then it went down to 10, and then it went to 20, and then it went to 10. And then all of a sudden, 50, 75, 100. And now that post, I think last month got us almost 4,000 visitors from that one post. But it took that long to get it there. So here's the cool thing. After you've been publishing for 6 months, you're going to start probably seeing some traffic, but now the new stuff that you're posting there is going to take 6 months. So whenever you get into that cycle now and you keep feeding it, you're always going to be like 6 months behind, but you got also content that's starting to become mature. Okay. And then you're always going to stay ahead of it. It's when you stop posting, wait 6 months, and then you start posting again, you got to kind of wait 6 months for that new stuff. But if you keep feeding it, then you're going to always have new content that's going to be ranking 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, and it's going to be able to collectively have this momentum for ranking. All right. So what is the mistake? That's probably what you're asking yourself. You're like, Scott, you said there's a mistake. The content that people are publishing for the most part, when it's not getting traffic after 6 months, is because it's not search friendly. And what I mean by that is it's things like why I love, I don't know, the 5-minute journal, right? Like, so if you're going after the 5-minute journal and I put in there why I love the 5-minute journal, someone's not searching why I love 5-minute journal. They might be searching 5-minute journal, but everyone's trying to compete for 5-minute journal. But if I did something like this, does the 5-minute journal work? Or what's the best way to use the 5-minute journal? Or can you use 5-minute journal for achieving goals? Can you use 5-minute journal when traveling? I don't know, I'm making stuff up. You'd have to go with questions around that. All right. Just like this here. Can you catch bass in the rain? Okay. Things like that. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen here, but hopefully that makes sense, guys. Hopefully that makes sense. You need to go with search friendly content, search intent. Okay. Not just what you want to do. Like, if I wanted to write an article on my MacBook, I wouldn't write there why I love my MacBook Pro. What it might be like, can you use MacBook Pro for using ScreenFlow? Can you use MacBook Pro or how long does a Mac Pro battery last? That'd be a question, right? How long does a MacBook Pro or how long before I need to upgrade my MacBook Pro? I'm making stuff up on the fly here, but that's the route that I would go. I'm always looking for questions, and the questions could also be product related, right? Best laptop for video editing. See how more specific that is? It's not just best laptop, right? It's best laptop for graphic designers. Okay. So we're trying to, again, go in and look at the questions that are being asked, and then we want to be the answer that resides on our website, and that's where people will come. Okay. So that's a big mistake that I see a lot of people making. If you are making that mistake, it's okay. It's okay. You can fix it, because that content that you have on your site is good content probably. And once someone comes there, that might be something that piques their interest, right? So our member that I'm talking about here, we didn't say go delete all your content. We said your content's great and it would probably be useful to someone, but they're not going to see it unless they get to your website. So now we got to get them to the website. Okay. And that's how we want to think about this. Think about your site as a question based site that is answering all of these queries. Okay. That's what you want to do. And then from there, you have the traffic, and now you can monetize the traffic. You can build an email list with that traffic. You can do all of those things, but you got to think about who is searching and is this going to answer their question? And another little tip here, it's a lot easier to rank for those long tail questions than it is for the 5-minute journal, right? You have to think about the long tail, okay? And the long tail, for any of you that are new that don't understand what that means, it's longer keywords or phrases. Can you catch bass at night? Can you catch bass in a pond? What is the best lure for catching bass in a pond? Like, those are long phrases, but they're phrases that people are asking. And those are the ones that will be a lot easier to rank for versus, best bass fishing lures, right? So it's question based. All right. So guys, hopefully that has helped you. I know that there's going to probably be some questions. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let this run. If we're on the podcast right now, I'm going to let this run. This is what we do live on our Friday Jam session. So again, if you want to join us and be part of our live discussion, head on over to takeactioncrew.com and you can join us over there. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's see if you guys have any questions, and then we will answer them. So here is one. How important is it to post a blog on same day and time every week? I don't think it's important at all. I don't think it's important at all, because I don't think Google cares, right? It's different if you said, is it important to write an email and post it the same day every single week? I'd say yes, because what we're doing is now we're training our audience that something's coming every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, whatever. Google doesn't care. They're like, oh, they have a schedule, I'm going to rank them better. Doesn't matter. You could take 5 posts and post them all in the same day, and it wouldn't make a bit of difference to Google. Although what I would do if I had 5 posts ready, I would post them one today, one tomorrow, one the next day, one the next day. And why I would be doing that is because then if anyone is reading the post, they wouldn't get it all at once. They'd be able to kind of go through it. But I don't think it really matters at all. I don't think it's like YouTube and you're posting something and then YouTube's going to look at it and go, oh, this channel's publishing frequently. Like, I don't even know if that makes that much of a difference. So I say just post. Let's see. Another question. How long should you give your content before knowing it will not rank and should tweak it? I'd say 6 months. 6 months. Yep. I'd look back at it. And a cool thing, another little tip here. So for those of you that hung out a little bit longer, I'm going to give you another little tip here. What you can do is Ubersuggest allows you to take your site, plug it in, and then, put it in there, hit search. And then what it'll do is it'll show you keywords that you're ranking for, but maybe not on page 1. And so you can look at those and see where they landed. So if you have one that's on page 2, but maybe halfway down the page, maybe it's ranking number, in the 16th position, you can look now and see, is that article not ranking because the competition on page one is just too much? Or is there something you can learn from page one and the ones that are ranking and go, oh, I just need to add more to my piece of content here. I have to add more information, more pictures, or maybe I need to add a video to it. But I would only do that on keywords that show promise for more visitors. Obviously, I wouldn't do it if I'm like, oh, I might get 10 more visits. I wouldn't waste the time on that, but I would wait 6 months. Let's see here. Okay. So how do you outline your product post? Well, the product posts are going to be actually a little bit easier because each product is going to be its own paragraph, right? So if you're reviewing 5 products, it's going to be 5 paragraphs, 250, 300 words, whatever. It could be longer, it could be a little bit shorter, doesn't matter. That's going to be your outline, right? So you still might want to do an intro. You will want to do an intro, and then you'll want to start covering the products, pros and cons, and then you'll have to, you probably do a conclusion, final thoughts, and that's it. And then you got your post. Alejandro says, it's about to go down when the professor breaks out the specs. Yeah, for those of you guys that are watching, I have my glasses on today. Okay, cool. So Russ says, Scott, this is a great topic. Can you please provide more examples of good and bad topic titles? Well, let's just talk about the good, because the bad, I guess I could give you some bad, but the bad is kind of just like, like I said before, it would be something like my favorite palm trees, right? I'm looking at my palm tree out in my front yard, like just kind of came to me. Now, a better question for that would be, or a better post would be, can you grow palm trees in North Carolina? Or how to trim your palm trees. Another one would be, do palm trees grow in dry climates? Like, I'm just making up stuff, but I would start digging into that. That's where I would go with that. So that's like, if you're into gardening or if you're into landscaping, palm trees might be a thing. So that's what I would do. Let's see. Okay, so where do you find questions that are long tail, such as do chickens eat oranges in the winter? Other than get them from the top of your head, make them up. Very, very easy, Alejandro. So what you do is you go into Ubersuggest, you put in your main keyword that you want to go after, and it could be, it could be growing palm trees. And then you're going to, there's a little tab there that says questions, and you're going to click on questions, and it's going to give you questions that are related to that search. So there you go. Bingo. That's how you do it. Are product posts always shorter? No, they don't have to be, because you can elaborate a lot on the different features, the benefits, the things that you like, you don't like. So it doesn't have to be, but it can be. Let's see. What should you expect about traffic 1 month, 3 months, 6 months? 1 month, pretty much nothing. Like I wouldn't expect much traffic at all in a month. 3 months, it depends on how much traffic there is on that keyword search, right? So if that keyword search overall gets 1,000 searches, and in 3 months you're ranking in the maybe it's the 9th position of page 1, you might get less of that traffic, or you will get less of that traffic because you're lower there. But if you wanted to get more of that traffic, you got to kind of wait a little bit, and you might move up in the rankings and then start getting more of that. Then after the 6-month mark, you can look at that and go, have I just stayed in that position, or do I kind of hover around the 8th and the 9th position, or am I on page 2? And if I got to page 1, I'd have some opportunity there. And that's where you start looking and analyzing your content. Would you do product posts right away? I would mix it up, right? So in this new niche site that we're building out right now, we're mixing it up. We're doing questions and products. So I would mix it up. If I had my choice and you only could do a certain type of post, I would start with questions, because we can get momentum there a lot quicker. But if in a perfect world, not even in a perfect world, If you have 4 posts that you're going to do, 1 a week, I would do 2 that are questions, 2 that are product based, or 3 questions, 1 product based. I would at least get 1 in there per month. All right. So I think that is going to wrap up this Friday jam session. Guys, thank you so much for attending. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. And if you guys want to have any of your questions answered, or if you want to suggest a topic for one of our Friday jam sessions, head on over to takeactioncrew.com. There you will find all of our past coffee talks. Also, you'll be able to become part of our Take Action crew by putting your name and email address in, and we'll let you know of some future stuff that we'll be working on for the Take Action crew. So head on over to takeactioncrew.com, and you can join us. All right. So guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action, have an awesome, amazing day. Cut. All right, cool. So that was good, guys. That was good. Thank you so much for the questions. And yes, I will have a great weekend, and hopefully you do as well. And let's see here. A couple other questions snuck in here that won't make the podcast, but that's okay. Do you look at competitors for product post ideas? Sometimes, not always. I just think if it makes sense, right? Like 5 best fishing lures for catching bass. We know that people are looking for bass fishing lures. They want to catch more bass. We know that they're going to be searching for, and you might just want to go to Ubersuggest and put in the word best in front of your thing, like, best bass fishing lures, and then just see what comes up on that. Yeah, Helene, you have a great 4th as well. Plans for the weekend? Actually, this weekend, tonight we're going to hang out with some friends for the first time in a very long time. Actually, my ex-business partner, Debbie, we're going to be hanging out at her house with her and her husband, and we might be spinning some vinyl tonight. So that might be happening. And the rest of the weekend, no, not much, actually. Just going to be getting some stuff done around the house and getting ready for next week, because next week we're heading out of town again. So, yeah. So, guys, hopefully you have a great weekend, and keep an eye out, because let's see, next week I'm going to be announcing a new workshop that we're going to be doing. Going to be kind of going back to my roots, and I'll have more on that on Monday. Monday, we will be doing a Monday mindset, but I will also be discussing what we're going to be doing here moving forward in a brand new workshop, and I'll give you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes on that. All right, guys. So have an awesome weekend. And let me give you the Monday mindset real quick. And this one here is going to be finding your drive to win. That's what we're going to be talking about. Some things I've been really, really pulling away from my daughter's beach volleyball. And it's cool because it always kind of brings itself, to me anyway, back to business basics. And finding your drive is sometimes hard. And when you find it, you identify it, man, oh man, that can fuel you. That can fuel you to push when you don't want to push, and drive you when you don't want to just keep moving and keep going because you get frustrated. Like, how to really find that drive. And it could be different. It can be different. It usually is different for everyone. But I'll give you some thoughts on that so we can get out there and crush the week. So Monday Mindset's coming on this coming Monday. All right. So I'll see you then. All right, guys, take care. Like I said, take action. Have an awesome, amazing day. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Be safe.